Man, let me tell you about dude, bro. One thing I'll say, bro, he be knowing the juice about what's going on, man. He be knowing it. He be having it, bro. He be having all the knowledge on all this shit. But guess what? We about to figure out what's really going on. Man, you know what's crazy? Last I heard, this man ain't been caught. He been the only one to be successfully just, you know what I mean, escaping the wind. It's crazy. It's your friendly neighborhood player putting part in ChipThaHustla. We about to react to this. Al Prophet. Al Prophet be having all the shit. All the shit, man. So let's go ahead and go, man. This might be two parts because it's actually long. We're going to be stopping and starting along the way, so stick with me. Let's go.
New in the story of Frank Matthews? Well, there have been a few new developments, and there's lots of things I didn't talk about in the documentary. First of all, RIP to Frank Matthews Jr., one of his sons, who passed just at the end of 2023. He was born in 1964. His services were in Ohio, and Cincinnati is the city where we're pretty sure Frank's wife took the kids at some point after they left New York. We had some insight that maybe they owned a liquor store in New York or Cincinnati, but we don't know. But Frank Matthews Jr. passed. His aunt, who I guess was like a mother to him in Durham, Marzella Steele Webb, was actually indicted in the case, but she was acquitted of all charges. I mean, she basically was charged with answering a telephone. People would call and ask for Frank. She passed.
Why it look like they got glasses on their face? Like if you look around his eyes and then her eyes, like she got like glasses on. Almost.
Not too long ago. She was 90 years old. She was in Durham, and Barbara Ann Hinton, who that was the name of Frank's wife, a woman 79 years old named Barbara Ann Hinton, died in Durham in 2022 as well. It must be his wife, or the wife he left behind. Barbara Hinton was also put on trial. She was convicted at first.
It might look like Marcus Garvey. It might look just like Marcus Garvey, man.
But she got an appeal bond, and then she did an appeal, and it was thrown out, so she didn't really serve any time. And something I didn't know, so many facts to find out about the Frank Matthews case. Back in '01, the U.S. Marshals were conducting, well, they still float around Durham. I mean, there's always sightings of Frank, and they knocked on the door of the mother of Gaddis Hinton. Gaddis Hinton, I don't know if he's related to Barbara Hinton or not. Durham's not that big, both last name Hinton, maybe they were cousins, I don't know. But Gaddis Hinton was one of, well, he's considered him and Mickey Beckwith, top lieutenants in terms of how much they were selling, I guess. They knocked on the door of the mother, Gaddis Hinton, and who should answer the door? Gaddis Hinton. Gaddis Hinton had gone on the run where he disappeared, not with Frank, but when Frank did. When they were all indicted, Gaddis Hinton disappeared right after Frank. Or maybe he disappeared a little later, but around the same time. Gaddis Hinton hadn't been seen from 1973 until that day in 2001. And so what happened to Gaddis Hinton? Remember, this was a guy, he was in the main indictment in the United States versus Frank Matthews et al. From '75, which is when the case really went to trial. He's alive, as best I can tell. He was booked, well, he went into the he was arrested in 2001, and I found him in the Federal Bureau of Prisons. He was released in 2001. So even though the stuff he was indicted for, like, he would have been probably given the same amount of time as like Big Head Brother and Mickey Beckwith, which was 15 years, up to 15 years. I mean, it's not like there's drugs still in the evidence like from 1973. The snitches are mostly dead. Some of the police are dead, retired. They just processed them in. I mean, if Frank got caught, I mean, they'd probably just do the same thing to him. In fact, if I were Frank Matthews, I'd pop out, go sit in the feds for a year, and then just live live in the open. I wonder, the fact that Frank never turned himself in, even recently after our doc and all this and that, kind of makes me think he's not alive, because a logical thing to do. They can't do anything to these people. There were no murders, and even if there were, there's no, well, there were murders, but there are none in the indictment, but this was 50 years ago. There's nobody hardly around left to testify. I mean, there's some, but there's certainly no physical evidence.
Your workflow is important to us. Please wait indefinitely.
With Monday.com's intuitive work management platform,
we found that this street corner in New York.
Bro, old as hell, bro. He might as well, bro. He been on the run this long. He might as well just stay on the run, bro. He done built a life wherever he at, man. What? If I'm him, bro, I done built a life wherever I've been at. You think I'm finna turn myself in for what? No, nigga, it's over with.
Harlem is a marketplace.
That shit
Hey, Apple, you got some bags?
No, baby, if you say it's all right, I'll take your word. I thought it was your stuff.
I wanted to try that stuff because Leo told me it was out of this world, man. Hey, Phil, get the bag.
Them folks was really in public doing doogie, talking about go get the doogie. Man, what? Real life cone.
So Gaddis Hinton was just one of Matthews' top salesmen, I guess you could say, one of the 5 main people on the indictment. And an example of Hinton's role was exposed by a Brooklyn street kingpin turned snitch named Donald James. James and a guy named Robert Ray Daniels had a crew known as the Dutch Schultz Gang. Well, Robert Ray Daniels was known as Dutch Schultz. So that was the Dutch Schultz crew. And Donald James' job was to get the heroin, and he testified that in the space of about 11 months, just them, and this is just one set of guys in Brooklyn who were pushing packs on the street, 17,000 packs a day, that they made 45 heroin buys in about 11 months or so, 100 to 150 keys. That alone, I mean, that's a huge drug ring. And that's just one guy buying from one of Matthews' lieutenants at Gaddis Hinton's. So you can see how the idea that Matthews had 20 million or more dollars, it's possible. I mean, the numbers start to add up. Me and Courtney Brown, a guy I work with here, whose father was a big kingpin and he went on to be involved in stuff. His buddy Eddie Jackson Jr. had a spot on the east side of Detroit for 20 years. And if you do the math, 5 million a year, which is 100,000 a week, which is just 15,000.
How the freak are you, or how are you 100,000 a week, bruh? See, it's like times was a lot different then, because like just the infrastructure wasn't that strong and all this stuff. I'm not gonna say it's new stuff, but it was like it was new to the times to be like serving this type of stuff. So it's just like, man, I don't know, this shit crazy. $100,000 a week, that shit gotta be noisy. That had to have been noisy.
1,000 a day means they had $100 million pass through that little wood house in just, dimes and 20s of girl. Epicenter of New York's heroin trade, that was Harlem.
About 50% of the heroin addicts live in New York City, and an estimated 80% of the known addicts in New York City live here. They live in Spanish or colored.
I'm gonna have to finish this shit tomorrow. It's gonna be part 1, y'all. Gone.